Hi everyone. So hope you enjoyed the networking session. My name is Lara Masid and I'm the lead of the Vienna team. I'm so excited tonight that we are going to launch the Vienna in Women of MENA in Technology in Vienna. On behalf of the Women of MENA in Technology, I want to welcome all of you to the virtual launch. It was approximately 1.5 years ago that I reached out the organization and I just asked them, wow, how can we bring the Women of MENA in Technology to Vienna? And I'm so excited tonight that we are going to celebrate the virtual launch with you all together. So now I want to briefly talk about the organization. Women of MENA in Technology is a nonprofit organization established in San Francisco in 2015 with a mission to close the gender gap by connecting, mentoring, educating, and elevating Middle Eastern and North African women in STEM. So tonight, you all want to celebrate the Women of MENA Technology virtual launch in Vienna, and I worked with Vienna team the past few months tirelessly to make it happen. So now I want to introduce Vienna team. So please, I want to start with Zahra. Do you want to start?
Yes. Hi everyone, this is Lara Masid. I'm also part of Vienna team, and as Sarah told, we're so excited that finally we could launch our Vienna team. Although this is virtual, I told finally, but it's just the beginning. So I have also a background of technology during these 3.5 years that I've been living in Vienna. I did my PhD in biotechnology in Volvo University with collaboration with Edrisian company, and since a few months ago, I started as an R&D developer in Edrisian company with focusing on biotechnology. Happy to have you here. And I want to pass to one of our lovely team members, Arezoo, to introduce herself.
Yes, here you go, Setara.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Soodeh, and I also want to give you the warm greetings from here, Vienna. My name is Soodeh, as I said, and it's 10 years that I'm living here in Vienna, and I did my master and PhD here. Last year, I finished my PhD in social and economic studies at Technical University of Vienna, and I'm working as a research and teaching associate at Technical University of Vienna, and I'm so excited to at least have this virtual launch and now I can't wait to see you all in person, hopefully really soon. So I will now pass to our last team member, Anna will come. So
thank you, Setara. Yeah, Anna is also joining us.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm the most recent member, and I'm so excited to be part of this organization, part of this amazing team, do so many amazing things together, and we will expand with more amazing people, learn about their stories, and about myself. And I studied in Iran. I did also informatics, computer science, in Vienna. I think I came here 2.5 years ago. I'm doing my PhD, almost done, hopefully. And currently, I'm working as a data scientist at Austrian Institute of Technology. I'm very much looking forward to get to know each and one of you. And now, with no further ado, I give it back to Sarah.
Yeah, I'm so excited that also you joined us. I mean, like, I worked with you before and I enjoyed working with you. So really welcome to Vienna team. Also, I wanted to say that also I'm coming from a tech background. I have studied electrical engineering, both in my bachelor's and my master's studies. Also, I'm working as a data scientist. And I'm so happy to be part of the Women of MENA in Technology in Vienna. So please enjoy tonight the networking, the keynote speaker session, the panel discussion, and I'm happy to have you all here. So just want to make sure that is Sepid also joining us from San Francisco to welcome the Vienna community. Yes, she's joining us. Hi, Sepid.
Everyone. How are you? Congratulations to Vienna.
Thank you.
Everyone else, hi, welcome. My name is Sepideh Nassiri. I'm the founder and CEO of Women of MENA in Technology. We're so excited to be launching in yet another European city and supporting our community globally. As Sarah mentioned, we started this small initiative and movement in San Francisco in the Bay Area. Yet now, after 6.5 years, almost 7 years, we are now in 19 cities around the world, and we can't wait to expand further as well. For me personally, the reason to create this organization, incredible organization that's led by the community for the community, as you can see, is to elevate the profile of our community. We are an unseen community and a minority group. And as long as we don't have representation and our community can't see who they can become, they're not able to be inspired. As long as they see only Jeff Bezos and the Zuckerberg type of magnitude, which they're incredible trailblazers, yet they don't look like us. And so I'm really excited to see that our community around the world is elevating the profile of women of MENA descent who are innovators, who are talented trailblazers, entrepreneurs, technologists, so that we can proudly showcase their achievements, but also inspire the next generation and what their possibilities can be. With that said, Vienna is one of our proudest cities to launch now in 2021, and we can't wait what the city will bring and the impact our team is going to have on our community there. If you want to support in any way the community or our team, please email them. I don't know if the team can place the email on the stage tap chat so that everyone is able to connect that way. One thing I want to leave you with is it takes one person to start something, but it takes the world to enable and move it forward. And that's exactly what our community has done and is continue doing for the mission that we have created. And I want to thank you all for that. 35,000 members strong today. And I'm hoping that in 2025, we will be in 100 cities around the world and impacting millions and millions of women in STEM and supporting them in their career growth and development. I will pass it back to Sarah and team. Please make sure that you're connecting with everyone. Please make sure that you are networking with everyone. This is your chance, whether it's virtual or in person in the future, to further your career. And through knowledge, through network, and through the connections you build is the best way that you can move forward your career path and development. Thank you so much for including me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I will pass it back to the Vienna team. Have a fantastic evening.
Thank you so much, Sepideh. It's an honor working with you, and we all so far enjoyed a lot working with you. And it's just the beginning. As we mentioned it, we are just going to launch it virtually. And of course, we are going to continue working together for more and more events. So please stay all tuned. So yeah, have a nice day, Sepideh.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So I'm now honored to introduce our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is going to be Arezoo Edrisian. She's an executive expert operational excellence at Kapsch Traffic Company, and we are so honored to have her as our keynote speaker. So I will add Arezoo to our stage. Hi,
hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you, very good.
Thanks for your time. I know that it's Friday night. I do appreciate your engagement from the beginning and now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be part of the Vienna launch of Women of MENA in Technology.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So stage is yours. Please go ahead. We will leave you alone in the stage. Yeah. And get back to you soon. Bye.
Thank you very much. Before we start, I would like to ask you something. Imagine that we are at the same train and we are strange passengers who sit across from each other. What do you think about me? I give you a few seconds, maybe you like to take some notes. Usually, the people don't think that she could be an engineer, an expert, a leader, or a lecturer. I can look back to last 3 decades of my life, and I see me in many different roles. A student, a researcher, software engineer, test manager, system analyst, project leader, scrum master, team leader, vice president, executive vice president, executive expert, women initiative lead, change initiative lead, mentor, and lecturer. It was an amazing journey with many exciting and challenging situations, with joys and pains, with loves and tears. But today I don't want to talk to you about all these 15 roles, but I would like to share some experiences and attitudes that accompanied me on my way. I would like to focus on 3 key messages, and each message I would start with a quote and then illustrate with my own stories. The first quote is from an exceptional scientist and an extraordinary woman, Marie Curie. She said, "We must have perseverance and above all confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something." This is really true, especially for us women. If we don't believe in ourselves, nobody else will do. And here in this quote, we have 2 very important characteristics: perseverance and self-confidency. I can talk about myself that I had perseverance from the childhood. If I wanted to do something, it was really difficult to stop me. As I wanted to study engineering, my family and some friends wanted to convince me that this is not the right choice for me. They said that I am a shy, soft, introverted girl, and I couldn't be successful in a male-dominated area. But I studied engineering, and I saw really always in my first job that there are people that don't trust you because you are a woman from Middle East who behave like a woman and dress like a woman. Once a colleague that I worked with him for 1 year, after 1 year told me that he needs to apologize. And I said, why? He said, as you entered the company, I made a bet with some colleagues. I said that you don't survive 1 year here in the technical team and you don't fit to us. And now after this year, I know what you could achieve. And I changed my opinion about women in technology who dress like a woman and also behave like a woman. But I haven't seen that before. I recognize that often this gender bias is unconscious. In that year, I could really launch a new product in a challenging customer project with tough deadlines successfully. And therefore, as I was successful, trust and respect was followed. But usually, these doubts and fears exist, and we cannot control them. We cannot control the mind of the others. But we can control that we don't stop and slow down because of doubts and skepticism of others. And here you need this perseverance and persistency and resilience. And therefore, I really heard many apologizes in my career. And therefore, I know that I don't need to take care about these doubts anymore. Anyhow, if you have a child who is persistent and stubborn, maybe it's stressful for you now, but know that this trait could be very helpful in the future. But even as I had a high self-esteem, I didn't have always a high self-confidence. I had also many doubts and fears, and I had to work hard on myself to overcome them. One big fear was public speaking. And you know, I am here today as keynote speaker. The reason was that I started as a child, as I was 1 year old, and it took many years that it gets better. And even as I went to school, if I was nervous, then I stuttered. Especially if I had to present something in front of the class, it started. And then some classmates laughed at me, and that hurt me as a child. And therefore, I stopped talking in front of a group. And then in my job, I always, as technicians, it's not that much necessary, but as I had my first leadership role and I had to do a team presentation, it was really stressful for me. How should I manage that? I went to a presentation course to prepare myself, and I said to the participants of the course, please support me, give me feedback, because we had a practical exercise and I wanted to present the same presentation as I wanted to present to my team. I said that I have a few key messages that I would like transfer to my team, and I would like that we can have a good start. And then I started my presentation. After I stopped and asked for feedback, one participant told me, as you started to tell us about your intention with your team, you have been very authentic. And now, after you started with the presentation, we saw that you have been very formal and not inspiring. What happened to you? I said that as I started with the presentation, I took care that I don't have too many mistakes in my grammar because my German is not perfect. And she said, after you start talking, for your first words, we recognize that you are not a native speaker. And then we ignore your mistakes in grammar or your accent. But you have a positive charisma and you are passionate about your job. Focus on that and be authentic. I am very thankful for this feedback because it remembered me I am not a child anymore. I don't stutter anymore. And instead of focusing on my weaknesses and what I cannot, for example, I am not a talented speaker, I am not a native speaker, but I care about the people and I like to share my experiences and I like to share my stories with the people. And this helped me that I focus on my key messages in a talk and overcome this fear. But it doesn't mean that the doubts disappear. They are still here, but you learn how to deal with them. And this is very important in your job, especially women who always underestimate themselves. If you don't know something, you can learn it. As I started to work, I worked in the first 15 years with so many different technologies that I had to learn each time from scratch. And here, also as I switched to the management position, I had to learn more about business and financial topics. And I wished to do an MBA, and I started my MBA at the age of 46. And it was one of my best decisions because it was great to be a student again. Therefore, my advice to you, stay curious like a kid. Don't stop practicing and learning. With your experience and knowledge, also your self-confidence increase. Now we come to the second wisdom. This is an African saying. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Here I tell you also another story from my first leadership position. Because I was the first female leader in research and development globally. I didn't have a female role model. Therefore, I decided to define my own style. And I said I would like to serve my team, to provide the conditions they need to perform, take care of them, and see what I would expect from as an employee from my leader and do the same. Now it's called, this leadership style is called servant leadership. But 10 years ago, I didn't know this term. I asked my team, what are the problems that I can support you to solve? My team was 25 men, very competent, very experienced. And some of them said that we have some collaboration issues with the product management. Therefore, I arranged a workshop between leaders of the development and leaders of the product management. One colleague told me, you are new and you are optimistic. You think you can solve a problem that exists for many years? You will see soon that it's not possible. But I didn't care and continued my approach. I did some meetings with the interface in the product management. I collected all problems with him. It has been a list of 2 pages, and we decided to meet bi-weekly and work on them. In 1 year, this list of 2 pages was reduced to 2 lines. That means we achieved a lot in that year. Once I entered my office and I saw that on my table, there is a picture of a lioness. I saw that one of my team members took this picture and brought it to me because they saw me as strong as a lioness. It touched me and encouraged me. I saw that my team now likes me and respects me. I got a very good image as a leader, and they started to do marketing for me and also my interfaces with their praise and word of mouth. You know that personal brand is very important, but I didn't know about it and I didn't care about it that time. And this automatically happened by my team and interfaces. And I was very grateful for that because then the magic appeared. I was promoted to Vice President R&D, and then it was extended to Executive Vice President Engineering, where I was responsible for 400 engineers in 3 different continents and 10 different locations. And I was very grateful for that because I had the opportunity to have these exciting positions because my network made me visible, because the people who worked with me in projects, he trusted me. And here I saw that this is really important, that I could go far because I went with my team. Sometimes people think that career is like a ladder that you climb up. But for me, it was like a jungle. I had to jump from one tree to the other. And if you like jumping, it's also very interesting. And you learn and grow and can be comfortable with yourself. I didn't have never an exact plan for my career. I did what I love to do. And it was the right time to do. And this is what I achieved as a woman of Middle East in an Austrian company. And what I achieved, you can achieve as well, and even more, because now the new generation is more open towards diversity, and there are more successful examples of women in technology. Now we come to the third and the last quote, and it is from a remarkable and inspiring leader, Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." It is very important that you always do the right thing and try to be excellent in your job as much as you can. Always make the right decision. Maybe it's not easy, but if your decision also serves others, they will recognize that. And if they know your intention, they will support you sooner or later. And also you are at peace with yourself and those around you. But if you serve others, also don't forget to take care of yourself. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who motivate you and inspire you, because it would be a challenging situation that you need this energy that you can get from these people. And sometimes there are people in the work that challenge you and discourage you. Here, you can also use it as an opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and also learn new skills and tactics, how to deal with them. In my 26 years of career, I had so many experiences that I really like to share with others, especially with young people. That was the reason that I started to teach the master students of IMC University besides my work at Kapsch. Also, I act as mentor inside and outside of the company. In addition, I am an active part of women's initiative in our company because I believe in the power of diversity and its impact on business and society. We know that women have social skills like communication, empathy, care, multitasking that are very useful in the technical projects and also in leadership positions. Also, if we bring these skills in the job, we can also connect the technical and social innovation better with each other. There are studies that have proved that. Especially in digital age, when we have so many challenges, we need technology to solve them, and we need this diversity, man and woman, to work together to solve them. If you're successful, also give back to society. One of the most powerful measures for sustainability is controlling world population. And here also women has an important role. The women who work and learn in that countries, you have the population in control. That means one of the most effective measures for sustainability is supporting girls in need in developing countries, that they can go to school, they can learn, and they work. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Now we are coming to the end of our common virtual train trip. And now you know more about my stories and my experiences. Maybe you look at your notes. Is anything you want to change? After this exercise, I would like to give you my final recommendation. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are from, or what you look like. Know yourself, know your passion, and write your own story. Thank you.
Wow, such an inspiring talk, Arezoo. Like, I really enjoyed listening to you. It's an honor to have you as our keynote speaker in Vienna virtual launch. And you know, it's just the beginning, and I hope that we can do more things together. So I have one question that is actually the team question.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you that when you began your career many years ago, did you imagine that you are going to have this leadership position in an organization? So how was your imagination like many years ago? Yeah.
No, and I didn't have any intention for that. This is also something that from the beginning, I wanted always to be an expert and also project manager. But leadership was not something that I could imagine. But I think what I saw was that also my strengths, because as a project leader, I saw that one of my strengths was also people management. And I saw that also it's necessary to show other leadership styles, as I saw at that time. And I saw, because I like to be a pioneer, and that at that time for me, it was interesting to be a pioneer, to show that also other leadership styles would work and be a role model for the others. And it was really a good experience. And yes, I am very grateful about that.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I would like to talk to you more, and definitely like this 20 minutes is not enough for such a person like you. So I hope that we are going to have in-person events soon, and we would love to meet you in person. So I hope
Thank you very much.
Well, hopefully maybe after this lockdown, we will find a chance and organize some events to meet you and yeah, to engage more.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for your invitation, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. Bye. Then bye. Then have a nice evening, and yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. You too. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. So you can just leave like that button on the right part.
Yes. Yes, I will do.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So in this session, I want to invite now to listen to our panel discussion with the title of the Women Leadership in Tech, Challenges and Perspectives. And I would like to invite Kambis Kohansal Vajargah. He's from the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber. He's with us tonight. Yeah, hi Kambis. So happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. Are you hearing me? Hi everyone. So I'm going to leave now. Hi Elaheh, hi Soodeh, hi Fatemeh. Nice to meet you all here. I know that Fatima is joining us from Stockholm, Soodeh is joining us from Montreal, Elaheh is joining us from Vienna, and Kambis is joining us also from Vienna. So please go ahead. Looking forward to hearing your panel discussion.
So hello everyone, do you hear me? Because I just lost somehow like the sound and I didn't hear you. Just happened suddenly, so I'm trying to figure this out. Might refresh if this is okay for everyone, so that I have sound on again, okay? So we'll just refresh the browser and come back to you and then start the session. Okay?
We hear you well, Kambis.
Should we start by introducing ourselves, or okay, we can wait for Kambis.
Hi, just want to make sure, Kambis, you what happened to your video?
He wanted just to reconnect.
Okay. So yeah, we can wait for him, or you can start.
You can start introducing.
Yeah. So who wants to start first? Soodeh, you want to start?
Sure. Hi everyone. Very happy to be here tonight. I'm joining you from Montreal, Canada, and both Vienna and the women of MENA in technology are so special for me, and tonight they are combined. So congratulations to the Vienna team for launching Vienna chapter. I'm Soodeh Farokhi, technology entrepreneur, and currently the VP of product at NAKISA, an enterprise software company scale-up based in Canada. I'm the founder and former CTO of a startup named C2RO, a leader in AI video analytics space, both in Canada as well. My background is software engineering, women in tech. Started my career back in Iran in 2008 in the telecommunication space, always enterprise software, and B2B has been my section. As a product and technology leader, I launched my first startup when I was 27 in Iran, a service company, and I found an opportunity for my PhD in Vienna University of Technology, and I moved to Vienna in 2013. I am entrepreneur by heart, so I wanted to master the knowledge in cloud so that I launched my company and next. And so after my graduation, I found an investor in Montreal for launching another company. So I moved to Montreal in 2016 and I launched my company. I'm a diversity and inclusion advocate. Obviously, that's why I'm here. And I have been the co-founder of Montreal chapter of Women of MENA in Technology. So that's why I'm saying that this is special for me. And I'm right now working in a product and line of business at NAKISA that is actually for all empowering people. So my passion and work are combined. I'm a working mom. And again, a pleasure to be here tonight at the panel. Thank you.
So thank you as well. I'm back again. So at the moment you introduced me, I just lost my sound. So hopefully it works now. Soodeh, thank you very much. I will just give you a short introduction and then lead to the other panelists. I guess you mentioned the topic already, but I just will repeat it. So now we are having a very interesting session on women leadership in tech, challenges and perspectives. And we have a great variety of panelists here. My name is Kambis. I'm today's moderator for the session. I'm also very welcoming that Women of MENA Technology is now joining Vienna. Thank you very much for that. We've been missing an organization like this, specifically in the technological area. I'm the head of startup services at the Austrian Federal Economic Chambers currently. So I'm responsible for all the startup companies here in Austria, which are approximately 2,600 right now. Before that, I've been an entrepreneur myself with different startup companies. I started in 2011, so around 10 years I was actively being an entrepreneur and just switched sides. I hope in a positive way. Now I'm more into the policy making, trying to set up the framework for Austrian startups here. Looking forward for the session, and I will just head to the other panels if they haven't introduced themselves yet. I was just away, so Elaheh, Fatima, you haven't introduced yourself, okay? Then let's continue with Elaheh, please. What about you?
Yeah, hi. Momeni here. Thank you, first of all, for the invitation, and congratulations for the launching the Women of MENA. Very inspiring. And yeah, I'm a research associate at the University of Vienna and CTO and co-founder of the AI company eMentalist.AI. Science with a special focus on the data science and machine learning. My PhD was awarded and from the University of Vienna and Austrian Innovation Forum. This was motivating me, and I basically motivate that we set up the company eMentalist, and the eMentalist set up in 2016. I'm very proud that we developed lots of services product. We have in the PropTech area, in the real estate area, which is already selected as a top PropTech product in the European space. And yeah, we have attracted many good customers from Germany, Switzerland, and Italy, Austria. And yeah, from personal life, I born in Iran, in Tehran, and I moved to Vienna 13 years ago. And yeah, in the meantime, I have a beautiful son and working as beside the family. And yeah, this is about me. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Elaheh. Elaheh, great story. Let's move to Fatemeh, our last speaker for today.
Thank you. So I'm Fatemeh Mahmoudi Mulin, and I live in Stockholm. I actually never have been to Vienna. I've been to many cities, but I'm the second generation, you could say. I'm actually born in Tehran, but we moved to Sweden when I was 6, so I think it's a bit different. We came here because of my dad's PhD, but I have no PhD, and so it's a bit different. But yeah, so I think I started my career working at Google in Dublin for the European office. And then I have been mostly working with advertising and product development as well. And some different companies such as HBO Nordic when they launched here in the Nordics. And then I was at Google here in Stockholm one more time. And right now I'm working at Volvo Cars, where I have been for almost 3 years. I think yeah, what I could say about that is that I've actually just let my passion lead me a bit. So I started working and tried different roles. And what I found interesting in all of this, because I have not had a startup, anything like that, but all these positions were a lot of times new at the company. So it was when a company was very new, or they were launching a new team or a new area, or they were in a transformational stage. And I found that very interesting. And I'm actually on maternity leave right now because I have a son who's 3 months soon. So yeah, that's me.
So thank you as well. A great story. So the only PhD today is you, Soodeh, I believe, at least with the panelists. So before we start into the session, just to give the audience another hint, if you have questions, just use the stage chat, put in the questions there to our panelists, to Fatemeh, Elaheh, and Soodeh. And after our session, when we have finished it, we will go into responding to your questions. Okay, just feel free, be confident, ask your questions. Now it's the opportunity. I will start right head into the discussion, and I will start with a very controversial question. I think it's a good start. I will start with you, Elaheh. So as we see that more and more companies are thriving for diversity in tech, and especially female leadership, women leadership, we still don't see really a rise and change of in a number of female leaders. When you take a look at all the companies there, if you take the number, how many female leaders are on the top, we're managing the company. There are differences between countries, but still overall, it's still lagging pretty much. Why do you think is it? And what recommendation do you have for these companies to change these numbers? And just something I want to add, because we are now in Women of MENA and Technology, so we have one, the topic female leadership, and the other, this cultural background. And I believe combining these two makes it even harder to move up to the top. But I'm now looking forward to hearing your point on this. Let's start with Elaheh.
Yeah. So as you said, many companies for diversity, they already recognize added value and advantages of diversity regarding women leadership. I believe there are two main reasons that still the number is too low. First one, I believe that is mainly traditional belief and mindset of many women themselves. Women are basically from nature are much more self-critical and self-challenging, and they pre-evaluating and adopting about their abilities themselves more than the other judging them. And so yeah, for example, when they have in many cases when they have developing the family, they start some kind of self-criticizing, self-blaming, and they start some kind of sacrificing their wishes, their visions about the career regarding the families. So first of all, I think this is the main reason still. Second is that many companies are talking and reporting about diversity and women in leadership, but they use this, I believe, as a modern and a state-of-art market. But in reality, deep in their detail, they are not detail. So more precisely, I can say, for example, the recruiting process is very still traditional and somehow biased. And then some of the leadership mindset still is very male-dominated. So I could basically say my recommendations. I can say mainly 4 recommendations. So maybe first is that development of some kind of mentorship to develop the personal aspect and also professional aspect of the women. So personal aspect, I mean, as also the Arezoo in the keynotes, I believe that it's working on the confidence of the women for the leadership. Second, I think providing the better parentship and childcare service. It's very important that also the company taking care of this. We know that in some countries is better than other countries. Some companies have a special childcare for their personnel, but also this is something that maybe they can work on it to give more flexibility to the women. And also the third, I would say, supporting modern model of working, such as also we learned in this, at least one of the advantages of this time with the COVID was that we learned that we can do lots of home offices, flexibility of working hours. And also, it's also we learn as a companies, as a leader of the companies, to also understanding the personal need of the individual and not only relying on the mass default process of managing personnel. And finally, I can say to changing the mindset deeply in the detail of the company in the different stages, and maybe very early stage we should work on the recruiting team to consider and accelerate this factor. Yeah.
Great points. I will try to sum it up. So regarding the challenges, one is, like you say, addressing the women themselves. So how they are raised up, under which conditions, and how they have been raised up. That's one thing. And the second thing is, like, if you take a look at the companies with all the more male-dominated leadership, that it's usually used as a PR and branding strategy, and there's no real will to really push forward. And recommendations you have or points you will work on is, on the one hand, like the mindset. That's one thing that can change a lot. But the other is like more the legal conditions. So in combination together, this might lead to an improvement. But you can add on this later on as well if you want. Fatemeh, what's your stake on this?
Very good points. When I thought about this, I thought, what do I think is missing, or what have I felt throughout my career? And I think it's a lot about, it's a catch-22, because there are not that many women that are the leaders. And if there were, I think I would have felt more comfortable, or more, I could basically look up to that. And so the catch-22 here is to actually take the men that are leaders and educate them in how they can promote female leadership, I think, or look at how to attract female leaders. But then I also agree with Elaheh's point that I had also thought about, the one that women also have to work with believing in themselves more. So we need to enable that in the society in general, in how you can trust in your own abilities, because a lot of times I think men are unfortunately, they have an easier time promoting themselves, and they believe in their own ability. And when you look at an ad as a woman, maybe you think, oh, I need to have all of these things, that are on a list. And if you're a man, maybe 5 is enough. So I think that you, for instance, if you teach that to the male leaders, then how do you have those ads out? How do you address women differently, or what different things are you need to promote? That's one of the things that I could think about that Elaheh didn't mention. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks as well. Soodeh, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, great points, Elaheh and Fatemeh. I echo the points, and I will just add a bit. In my view, we are doing really well at the entry level for having diverse people joining companies, right? Based on McKinsey report, we are doing 47 diverse, like, women in the workforce. That's great. But then when it gets to C-suite, it's 21%. So we need to focus on what has happened to the ladder, that these women couldn't go up the ladder, right? And I believe that all of the points that you guys mentioned are really important. One of the things that I want to focus on is how we can aim for policies that decrease the departure rate of women that are getting to managerial level and then getting to the leadership level. And I think one important factor is that the companies are very kind of caring about diversity, but they are not caring that much about belonging. And that is a very important factor. When we go to boardrooms and they are just mainly males sitting at the board, like, you know, at the top level of governance, or so many leadership meetings that they are just like for more male, because there are not that many women, we don't feel that belonging. And I think it's a very interesting word. It says diversity is being invited to the party, and belonging and inclusion is being asked to dance. And that means that you truly kind of are welcoming and think that this is your stage, but we don't feel like this. So I think if companies have started to focus on that belonging and inclusion, we already gonna do a better job. I echo Elaheh on maternity leave. I suffered myself while I'm still in a country that has a lot of better kind of policies than the US, for instance. Flexible working hours, we already have, thanks to pandemic, I would say we already have that, and it's an important factor. Closing the salary gap also is one factor, but all of the other factors will contribute to that, because if the maternity leave and paternity leave are like fair, then that closing that gap is actually more realistic, because there are not women that are, you know, staying home for years, and the male peer can just go up the ladder and then we cannot catch up with them. So I think that's my perspective.
I will try to sum it up again. Also, Fatima, your point. So, and you can correct me. So, also like the point on how like women promote themselves or like position themselves. This is also one challenge. If I'm right, that's what you said.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the self-promotion.
Yeah, but I also meant like there are not that many more female leaders to look up to when you are applying or you are going through a process or when you are working. But it's a catch-22. So to get more female leaders up there, how do you then teach the male or men that are the leaders to address the woman in the way that works for women? So for instance, how you have job ads or how you think about other factors that are important to women. Yeah.
So on the one hand, the self-promotion, but even more the role models you need to have, like in order to change or do like leader change.
Yeah, those are those things. Yes, exactly.
Perfect. And Soodeh, you mentioned the political side. So and also like somehow the exit or like of women like going up the ladder, but then suddenly exiting because like becoming a child. So there was a study published some weeks ago, but in Austria, and they were analyzing the gender pay gap. The study was conducted by the Austria Wirtschaftsforschungsinstitut, which is a scientific research institute, and they analyzed particularly age 0 to 2 years for children, and which is like one of the main reasons when women move out of the career ladder at this point. So when their child is like between 0 and 2 years, which leads in the end to like moving them out of the job market again, which leads to a high like gender pay gap. That's one of the main reasons like here in Austria. So I think this is also one of the things you have been addressing regarding like there needs to be like political or let's say legal adaptations so that female leaders can increase in numbers. Otherwise, they will just drop out because like of not enough support there.
Absolutely.
Can I add one thing, Kambis?
Yeah, please, Fatima.
When Soodeh said that, so I live in Sweden, obviously we said that already, and here it's extremely equal when it comes to paternity and maternity leave or parental leave, basically. It's very, at least in my generation, it's very common that it's split more or less equal. Maybe it's that the woman takes a little bit longer. We have 1.5 years paid parental leave, which is very long from the government. But we still have the issue that this of course helps equality. I'm not saying it, of course, that's like, we need to have that fundamental base. But even when we have it, it's still not that we're saying as many female leaders when you look up upper at the organization, and we still have the wage gap as well here. So there are so many things that takes such a long time. It's just interesting because we have that, but we still don't have equality. But at least we've taken one step in that direction.
So it's a combination of different factors, which makes it very complex to like find one-way solution. So you need like adaptation on different like stages so that it works out on the long term. That's something. I mean, this is how I understand it, like getting the points you mentioned.
I think so, because it's an observation. I know that we have it very equal here, which is needed, right? That's the base for making it equal, but it's still not equal. So, yeah.
Then let's move to the next questions, and I want to get a bit more personal. I mean, you have been already mentioning like your steps, like going up the ladder, but still, let's start with Fatima. What has been your experience as a leader and your challenges in succeeding? So give us, apart from that, what you already mentioned, some further examples so that the audience can like
sure. Yeah, that's a good question. So I think one thing that I have had as a challenge, which I notice, I didn't think about it first myself, but I heard it from other people, then I noticed it in the context, because I've been working at a lot of traditional companies. One thing is that they are not used to, not all of them have been used to, I don't want to say that about Google, but working here in Stockholm, at least in other type of companies, different type of cultures or different type of backgrounds is not as common. Maybe I'm one of the first people at that company with a different type of name that is not Swedish. So that's like one thing that has been, I think, making me more visible, but at the same time also putting me under scrutiny of like, okay, so now we have to watch her and see what she does. And, you know, now that we gave one of those persons a chance, let's see what she goes for. That's like one of the things. I never thought about it myself until I noticed it in different contexts and other people mention it for me. And how do you come around that type of challenge? I think you just have to perform what you can. And for me, I'm a people's person. It's a lot about building those relationships and understanding and being empathic towards other people, and they start to like you back, and then you get more and more space. And one other thing I would like to mention is also, just as a woman, that's a part of the culture. I mean, of course, I have the combination of a woman and having a different culture. But as a woman, I've also noticed a lot of men, for instance, in just different type of meetings that we are in, are allowed to be much more loud and have a lot of opinions and even take a lot of space. And it's not being commented on at all. It's kind of considered, oh, that's a confident person, or oh, look at what he knows. Whereas I've understood and heard from other people, like when I do that or other women do that, it's being scrutinized much more and criticized much more, or like looked at, or why does that person take that much space? So that's a different challenge, because different type of challenge when you are a leader and when you are working with different things that are affecting a lot of people in an organization, that you need to be allowed to be the same as men are allowed to be, or it's weird that it's not in that sense. Yeah, but I think the solution to all of this is a lot as well. Just try to being oneself and trying to be empathic and trying to build those relationships and until you kind of establish yourself and show what you can do. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Fatemeh. The gender bias you have been mentioning, which have you experienced yourself, is it attached to men only, or also like to women? Mentioning the point you meant, like if a woman, a female leader acts the same as a male leader would do, then the response is different. There's some prejudice in it. Is it does it address this like men and women as well, or just men in your experience?
Biases towards how women should be too. Of
Exactly.
course. Yeah, of course, the bias is both ways. But I think I've been at a lot of companies that have been kind of male dominated. And you could, yeah, I mean, it's not my field of work, but you could say the same way with women or men who have work at places that their majority are women and there's a female culture. And yeah, of course, it goes both ways in all contexts. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Soodeh, what about you? What about your experiences?
Yeah, I think the first one was that I learned to go out of my own way. So I think that was a very big thing for myself to believe in myself and overcome the imposter syndrome. So that's, I think it's a real things. But for getting there, I think the main issue was lack of awareness for myself. So I needed to know this is not just happening to me. I'm doubting myself, or I don't like to, I know, sit at the table. That's not me as a person. That is like, this is like probably our gender, it's ageism, it's sexism that you are seeing, and then you have this unconscious mistakes or bias at workforce. And I was trying to be, for a long time, be a nice girl than a professional woman, than a female leader, or not even female, than a leader. And I echo Fatemeh that I was probably looking at the reaction of others too much, that how they will perceive my behavior, and then I was adjusting myself. And that I learned that no, I need to do the right things that I believe in, and I need to be comfortable with that and learn that, okay, these are the things that doesn't matter, you should not filter it out based on your gender. You should filter it out that you are a competent leader and you have your impact, and this is the way to lead your team, to lead the product, etc. So at the end of the day, I think it was awareness and lack of awareness that I had. And then I started to read other female leaders. What was their journey? We are all human. We are not superstars. And then I was seeing, oh, Sheryl Sandberg, that's the CEO of Facebook, also went through that much of a struggle in her career path. I couldn't believe that. Or there are a lot of, let's say, Michelle Obama. I was like, oh my God, they are also have a lot of vulnerability, and I need to recognize that. I need to understand my weakness. I think that was super helpful for me and helped me to be aware, I would say, my weakness and strength, and build upon on my strength.
So this was like the turning point when you saw like others, also maybe even your role models, were facing similar like issues, and this was some of the turning point, like that you didn't just start like adjusting yourself to like to the others, but more what you had like your direction and you were going for it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Elaheh, do you also want to share something on this, or should we move to the next question? Or was it too spontaneous?
Oh no, fine. Yeah, there's definitely. I agree with both regarding the audiences and traditional mindset. Also, one of the challenges, or that also I can also mention that it was also this my personal family development and life balance. That was also one of that that I can say that it's some kind of, because it's a reality that at the very earliest stage of the when the child needs, it's dependent on the mother than father, and sometimes this develops deep complexity inside the woman that keep them back from the developing the career. So that is also something that for the succeeding for the leadership, it's a good that the women be aware of this when developing the family, also working on itself, and just thinking about that there is also new dimension in the life that also should take care, and also working on that. And of course, that I still had also lots of this kind of bias, and that is gender bias and traditional mindset. Especially in the technical environment. I have personal experience that, for example, you are sitting in the room and you are talking, you're answering a question, you know that your answer is correct, but there's still the other participant in the room and answering back to your colleague, which is a man. And then these are also the topics that, that's the challenges, and that you should deal with all of them personally, and just develop your own personality and your own way, your own uniqueness, that to lead to the leadership.
So thank you really much to every one of you that you're sharing these personal experience you have, because I think this is like the most important thing that the audience can hear, because they can probably relate to this. I will just repeat it again to the audience. If you have questions, just put in your question to the stage chat, and we will, after like our session ends, we'll like get to the responding them as well. Okay. So I will move on with the next questions I have. Elaheh, with you again. Let's go a bit more to a positive direction. Okay. What are now the great opportunities out there when it comes to women in technology? What do you believe? Where is potential for the audience there? Where should they move to? Yeah, let's hear us. What do you say?
Yeah, luckily, lots of the things, as you said. Also, positive is that I believe in many countries, also including Austria, there is lots of good opportunities, like lots of good support for funding, especially for the women. And like, for example, there is a very good opportunity for the funding when you want to set up your own company, or you're writing the research proposal as a co-founder or co-author of such a proposal. You have a higher chance to get your proposal and more better accepted. Also, if you are in some unbiased environment, I would say, as also the Fatima mentioned, being diverse, having being a woman in the technique, or I don't know, that this is also attracting more attention and bringing more harmony in the discussion and all the work environment. And also, third, I would say something like, it's also proof that the way the women thinking is the different from the way the men thinking. Women have the ability to consider more, various dimensions in the same time, and against the men, which are more focused on topic. And this ability and this characteristic of the women also bring more opportunities for the women for developing and implementing better concept, I believe. So this could be opportunities beside all the others.
I want to like add 2 points to this. One was like the support there is here locally in Austria, like also for female entrepreneurs, so like grants.
Not necessarily Austria, many countries doing this, many countries, yeah.
So just for the audience who might be interested to start their own company, such as you did, there are like different grants, like by the Vienna Business Agency here in Vienna, or also like on federal level, like the AWS, not Amazon Web Services, but Austria Wirtschaft Service. They have like their own the programs like AWS First, which is like when you want to become like first time a founder. They will have 2 batches next year, and there will also be some kind of female bonuses. So teams with like female founders, co-founders, they will like extra additional support, financial support. Vienna Business Agency is one, and the other is AWS First. Okay, just take a look at it. If you're interested, come to me later. Another thing I wanted to mention, because what we just said. So there are like studies that even show that when you take like the Fortune 500 companies into consideration, that companies that were like run by female CEOs were financially performing better. I think up to 1/3 better than like male counterparts. So this is also like based on like real data numbers we have out there. I just wanted to like to emphasize it. Let's continue with Soodeh. What's your take on this?
I actually want to build on the one that you said. Why financially those companies might, right? And the reason, because we need to understand the reason behind diversity and inclusion is not just that we say it, we mean it, right? And I think the reason is that I don't want to say something that is arrogant and as a woman to a lot of men that we have in the audience, but I would consider that women have a better soft skill in terms of communication, have an empathy in relationship, building relationship, asking opinion of others, brainstorming more. So there are a lot of things that are characteristics of a good leader, and it seems that women are stronger. Not everybody, but it's just like as typically women are better. So when now we have technical skills, so competency must be there all the time. So in my view, we should not sacrifice competency on gender, because that will ruin the impact of diversity and inclusion. So we must have competent women that are leaders, and then they have also a strong soft skill for communication, for networking, for leadership, talking with empathy, etc. That combination, that's why then there are a lot of companies that are successful. Another factor I would say, well, yeah, there are a lot of programs for us, so we are on demand. We need to leverage it in a good way, and for doing that, try to, especially if you are at STEM, if you are in technical environment that still are male dominate, try to being memorable instead of being scared when you are alone. And I learned that because I was in a class of 60 students that all of them they're male in a cloud computing fundamental course, and I was the only one female. So of course I'm scared, of course, that I cannot raise my hand, right? But then I leveraged this in my entrepreneurship journey, that when I was pitching to investors, when I was pitching my company, people were remembering me because you were that CTO, that like female CTO and female tech entrepreneur. They were remembering me. So I started to look at it as a positive, in a positive way. And I think if we change our perspective, yes, we are alone, we are minority, but leverage that minority, build the strong point, have impact, and then the gender, age, and everything else really doesn't matter in my view.
Okay, great input. So just one thing to clarify it again. So in the beginning you mentioned like not just focusing on gender, but the diversity. This is like the basis like of like also good performing teams and companies. So that we shouldn't like just say, okay, we need a female lead or a female CEO, but we need like diversity within teams so that it works out. Is it right? Or
I would say
yeah?
it's good to say you have to have a diverse team, but you need to show why. why they need to have a diverse team, right? I think it's not just the policy, politics, etc., that we need to have a diverse team. The diverse team will translate to better financial outcome. Diverse team transfer to more innovation. Diverse team translate to more brainstorming, more welcoming environment, so that more talents and smarter talents will join your company. So I think the reason behind why diversity matter is not that much well spoken. And I mean, that inclusion part, I think, is one part that we need to work on, the inclusion as well. But then also the reason behind why diversity matter for companies, so that then even tech startups that are small and care about their success really well versus big corporate, they also care about a diverse culture. Not because of just putting and announcing, marketing it, as let's say Elaheh was saying, but just because it's better outcome for the company. They will be more successful.
And we have the data, the valid data that shows it, and also enough
Absolutely.
examples.
Absolutely,
Okay,
we have.
cool. I will move to my next question, and starting with you, Fatemeh. So in the audience, we have a woman, I'm 100% sure about that, who want to like pursue a career in technology. So what is your personal advice to them? What should they do? What should you focus on?
I think it's important to believe in yourself, as we have discussed, and believe in your ability, and better to have an overbelief, because then maybe you match the male, and also try to find inspirational leaders that you believe in. I mean, I would say woman leaders, but of course it's up to you what you find, but that you can look up to and take advice from, and having mentors, and or even at a workplace, find somebody that you can look up to or get advice from, so you can kind of advance that way. I would also say, for me at least, it's been very important to find companies, not all the time, it hasn't happened, but to try to find companies that have the culture that promote diversity and promote female leadership, and can see it as a strength, and use it as an armor as well. As I said before, my name is different, I look different, people remember me. That could also be a big advantage for you, and use that advantage.
Mentioned this role models again. Do you have a role model or a mentor, or did you have one like in your career?
I mean, when I was studying in Lund at the university, I was already part of a mentorship program then, but I had a very good mentor that I could look up to, but I haven't had a mentor all the time. But not like an official one all the time, but I've tried to find people that I look up to and believe in, and have conversations with them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Soodeh, what about you? What's your personal advice?
I would say that whatever you do in any part at your career, try to have an impact. I think that's the most important one. If you have an impact, your race, your language, your skin color, your accent, your age, your gender, doesn't matter. Like, if you can show that you have an impact and bold contribution to the board that is very different, to a meetings that's very different, like you are minority, they will get shocked. They say, oh my God, this is like, she's up. She has some words. She knows what she's doing. But they are also unconscious bias, I would say. So we cannot just change that. In order to overcome that, you need to be prepared. So you need to do maybe more for preparation of a presentation, preparation of a project presentation, like whatever you need to do to have that impact. You might need to work a bit harder to get and show that impact. But then when you build that trust relationship, when they started to also believe in you, when you yourself believe in yourself, I think that's like you already overcome the very big challenges on the way of your career path.
Work harder, have an impact. Also, the question to you: do you have like mentors, role models? I mean, you mentioned some before, but still, any others you want to name?
Yeah, I mean, in my childhood, my brother was my role model. So we grew up together. But then when I, in my career path, honestly, I just, I love audiobook, and I am reading a lot of books about successful female leaders. I already named Sheryl Sandberg, Michelle Obama, the CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi. So these are all my role model. And I try to understand that they are at the end human. They are not superstars. they are not a perfect mom, perfect leader, perfect, like, understand that piece of, like, you need to sacrifice other parts, and you need to find a balance between your personal life, your professional life, and your work. And I found this through looking and reading about, you know, other successful female leaders, I would say.
You mentioned like family as well, your brother, because it's also like same with me. Also, like my family is also like somehow like my role models, my mentors in one or the other area. We will like actually end this session soon with Elaheh, with like your statement on this, your personal advice, and then if you can also mention like your role models, mentors would be great.
Sure. That for the personal advice, or I would say it's very important always working on your personal and professional development for each of us. That and plan really time for yourself. In many phases, we lose confidence, or we start self-criticizing ourselves about our knowledge when our proposal is rejected or promotion is request is rejected. And it's very important that we invest time for ourselves to recover from this weakness, weak thoughts, and make ourselves again strong, and try the new paths. And this is only things that we can do for ourselves. There is nobody else can arrange this for us. This is only us that we can book some time, and it's a lot for us that to develop ourselves. Second, I would say, if you have family, if you want to develop a family as a woman, so beside public support like kindergarten, school, or whatever, arrange additional support, such as arrange to have a family around you, or if it's not possible, arrange a network with other parents in the school, other kindergarten. Like in my case, for example, I have always arranging with other parents in the school. If I was in the meeting, I was texting them if they can pick up my son. It was really helpful, and this building the community around you, it's very helpful. And other things I would say, it's arrange more help and outsource the unnecessary stuff like cleaning stuff, food delivery, these things that if you can, nowadays there are lots of good services that we can use, that if you buy more time for yourself instead of doing unnecessary stuff. And pre-plan in advance all your detail of your life, that bring you more structure, give you more clarity, and more paths, scheduled things for the much more in advance. And also last things, which is not least, which is, I believe that you should believe on your own thoughts and do not listen so much on all the things around you, because there are also between the women itself, they are the ones who are weakened others, and they are stopping your way. That they are, why you are picking up your son or your child so late? Why I take my time this and that. This is your own way. That how you want to manage your time, your life, and you're building your career. Just believe on yourself, believe what you think that is the right way, and listen to others, get advices, get help, but do not so much match to them. And yeah. And second question, as you had by my role model, basically the role model, many of them I saw it was in the academic, that lots of professors I met, that they are very successful, they are very impactful. Like the Professor Monica Hensig at the University of Vienna, I liked her a lot. But beside the family, she was also very impactful in her research and in her also the teaching, all the aspect of her life. So yeah, that's my basically from the academic life. I had more role model, I would say.
Thank you very much, Elaheh. Thank you for all the other panelists. It's very difficult to sum it up because there were so many, there was so much great input for the audience, but also for me. So believe in yourself, become self-confident, focus towards your direction, focus overall, get your role model ideally, but don't believe they're superhumans themselves. So everyone has like difficulties. I think that's very good because it makes it very like equal, everyone equal and very authentic. So I will now end like our discussion. Again, thank you very much for like the input you have shared with us. Thank you for a Woman of MENA Technology for like organizing it. We have some questions from the audience. I would like to get into discussion as well. If it's okay for the organizers, I will do it directly. If not, just tell me and you can take over. but I believe it should be okay. So first question by Noor Janoub, I hope I spelled it right. She says that it's also a challenge, or it says what challenge she sees is like the stereotypes that might be like addressed for women, particularly from the MENA region, which she believes is like in many cases wrong. Do you see that as well? Do you have something to share on this? Whoever wants to. Soodeh.
Well, I don't see it actually in a negative way. Here in Canada, they perceive the women from MENA as fighter, as the ones that they really are ambitious and they are good at math and physics. So in particular, Iranian women in Canada are very famous that they are very strong, or women in the STEM, I would say, at math and physics. And so I have not seen that much of a stereotype against us versus just good things that I'm leveraging. So that's my experience from Canada, but I leave it to Elaheh and Fatemeh to share it from Europe.
I can go ahead. I don't have as well. That's one side of it, I think, Soodeh. So there is one maybe positive side of it, but I have for sure seen the other stereotype of like, angry woman from Middle East, or you come from inequality and now you come here and now you're angry, or like a little bit like that. I have definitely seen. So. The slightest like showing your emotions could also be like, okay, so you're very emotional because you're from Middle East, or so I have definitely seen the negative association that comes with it as well, or stereotyping.
So positive and negative, okay.
I also agree with Fatima. There is some kind of negative association. I also built experience with, but sometimes it's also advantage because you're as we talked before, is sometimes you're different, and this being different, being diverse also have an advantage, but many times has also a negative association. I agree.
Thank you. Then by Mahtab Bekpur, what is your idea if remote work can help to improve diversity? What do you believe? Where are we going to head to? Fatima,
Sorry, I started. No, I just wanted because what I see in my own team when it comes to diversity, because of Corona, we have now people based in many different countries, so they don't have to move to Sweden, and that's been a big game changer, because before, of course, we relocated a lot of people, but we couldn't relocate all of them, and so now it has opened up for people to be able to be in many different places with different cultures and still contribute to a Swedish company that has its base office here. Sorry.
Actually, my topic is very centric to the family. When you have especially childcare beside the work, so I believe that this is really helpful, because I know in my network that lots of women, they were able to, in the very earliest stage of their, before first year of that the child is or not still, that they were starting the work full-time, also start working. They could also develop the career, but they still being beside the child. Although they have some help at the home, somebody was helping, but still the child was seeing the mother. It was beside the child, and this was really, I would believe that this is definitely helpful for the improving the diversity, as the women can still work and still has some kind of connection to the childcare.
Great. Soodeh?
I think for the leadership, I would say I would focus on the leadership side to be diverse. I think there are a lot of factors in, let's say, the performance reviews and so many things that are still biased towards who is a better leader, who is the better performer, etc. I think that needs to be revised as well. And they are, they are like kind of awareness on the level of, we look at the managerial level, we look at the leadership, we look at the potential and career path. That I think that needs to be revised, and the companies that are building the future of work in a way, they are preparing that organizational transformation, that are kind of fostering women towards the ladder, that those are the one that in coming years they are really have more diverse leadership, managers, and entry level. So I think it's all about us looking at the problem from different angles and see what are the issues that departure rates are high, and we fix those, I would say.
So very different responses, but very interesting ones. Thank you for that. I hope, Mahtab, that your questions were answered. Let's move to Hoda Kermani, the last question for today, to all panelists again. So as a successful woman in C-level, all of you, what do you think you can do or are already doing to empower and encourage other women to join leadership positions? Who wants to start? No one. Soodeh.
I can start. Yeah. I would say on its own, when we are a leader and a female, we are kind of showing that we are a role model. Our roles, our positions are feasible to achieve by others. So on its own, have female leadership in companies, I think it's helping us to show. And of course, we need to be good leaders, because we are rarely female leaders are up there, and the ones that they are, we have like a very heavy duty, I would say, to be a strong leader, so that we are kind of role model for others. And I think we should not also forget that managerial step before getting to leadership. So we need to try, I think, as women, first of all, support women and men. I would not just say focus on women, because that's not fair. So you need to focus on competency, right? But then you need to be gender blind, and you need to just consider the impact and competency of people in your team, in your organization, that you can kind of help them, coach them towards the managerial role and leadership role. And I think that's the best things that we can do to build their career path. So I really believe on coaching and building the career path of the team, either my team, or I also influence the other leaders in the company that they need to do so.
So maybe one of the audience is looking forward to being coached by you in future as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I welcome them.
Fatima, yes.
I continue. Yes, so Soodeh, I really like that. That's one of the things that I would say too, is to make space for the different persons in your team or in your environment at your workplace. Try to really see them, what their needs are, or how you can make them more visible. Or encourage them more. That's something that I try to do, at least, and make space for them also upwards. So I also try to speak to my own managers and try to create things that promote those people or the skills I see in them. And not as all people are as good as creating space for themselves. So then it's a job as a leader to create that space for other people that you are leading, or other people that might need it. And I think the question was also about how to do it, especially for women or female leaders. I think you can very easily notice, and I agree with you, it's not just for women, but you can very easily notice if somebody is being kind of doubting themselves or their confidence. And then if you then can step in and help them with that, then usually they bloom a lot and can give you a lot back. And that's something I think you can do as a leader to help others.
Thank you. Great. Elaheh, we'll finish with you again.
Yeah, besides, I should just first confirm both the Soodeh and Fatima. I would say, as we also discussed, we as women, we have this cognitive skill that we can maybe better understand, and we have this sympathy that we can better individually understand the needs of each person. And in this case, we can better understand the needs of other women to help them to develop themselves in the leadership position. So this I would see it as other aspect that we definitely can improve it. That women encourage them to become a leadership.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for all the panelists. Thank you to the audience for the questions. I will head back to the organization team. Thank you as well for your hard effort putting in and realizing this event. I give you the word over.
Oh, thanks to all of you. It was a great panel discussion. We're so honored that we had you for our panel discussion for our Vienna launch. So thanks to all of you, Elaheh, Fatemeh, Soodeh, and Kambis. We know that you all are so busy and it was a Friday evening. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you as well.
Bye.
So,
Great pleasure.
again, just like we will have half an hour more for the networking session. And so also you have your own room. So if you want to engage with the people that who are attending now the event, please use your own room and use this chance to engage with our community. Yeah, there were more questions from the audience, but we are going to ask it in the networking session. So please enjoy the networking part. Bye. See you there.